Walaikum Salam.
Are we ready? Go ahead. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmadahu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, this is my third session, and I'm overwhelmed with your response. And please do ask me questions if you have questions or comments, or just let me know, and the areas which you want to listen from me. And but the only thing which I can do is I cannot interact with you like on the stage. I'm just talking to the screen here. So let's go back to, I was talking about STEAM, why arts was introduced in STEM. So in the core curriculum, basically, you were talking about 3 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, and some kind of social study in there, or social sciences. But of course, mathematics was there, arithmetic, so which is part of STEM, but science was not there. So Mr. Obama has given importance to STEM, how it is connected with, national economy and its development. So, but we isolated again. What core curriculum has done is excluded the science, and STEM has excluded the arts. So that was not right thing. So now, with the addition of arts, you are adding just not the drawing or painting, but also many other activities, including sports, sports too. So here in United States, all the schools celebrate every year STEM Day. As you could see here, I have mentioned STEM Day. But now many of these schools are realizing that they have avoided arts activities. So now instead of STEM, they have STEAM Day. So I can show you. Okay. See, in a STEAM school day, you have all the activities. There is a drama, there is a painting competition or drawing competition, and of course there is science activities. And these kids will show different science activities and attract the parents and other students from the arts, and they show interest in here. And our science students go and attend the drama. And of course there is, sports activities also. There are different types of indoor, outdoor sports activities on that day. So that has created a lot of interest among parents and other students who are not involved with STEM, and later on they joined STEM. They took STEM classes, and arts students took the STEM classes, and STEM students took arts classes, and vice versa. So basically, one important thing which I want to tell you, that most of the time, particularly in India, I felt that arts teachers do not want to indulge in any activities of science. So the same thing with the science and mathematics teachers, they don't want to indulge with arts or, so art activities. So, but there was a special training given by certain universities and government facilities for research experimental training program, RET. So basically what you are doing, let me see if I could move this, I can't read here. Okay, I could. Okay. They can rejuvenate and replenish and re-energize these teachers. Doesn't matter If there are teachers, there are separate programs for students as well. And these 3 R's are the goals for this kind of programs. And teachers learn a lot of new methodologies, and they actually have inquiry-based, hands-on activities when they go to these programs. And so they learn a lot. So when the teachers learn, the students learn. And in United States, National Science Foundation, which does everything except medical science. For medical sciences, NIH. And for engineering and all other educational activities, physics, chemistry, everything is handled by National Science Foundation. It has a huge building in Virginia and huge facilities. There is a lot of research going on in there. And similarly, I forgot to tell that NSF is actually doesn't charge any fee. And of course, in America, and you may not be able to attend here, cost you money and all that. And sometimes they give, they provide funds to the teacher. They pay money to the teachers to attend these kind of activities. And it is a federal government program. And same thing is done by Department of energy related, any research going on. So they invite these teachers for a week program, and teachers enjoy these kinds of activities. So basically, there are a lot of studies have been done, and how it improves. I have given the name of those studies here. How it improves the quality of teaching, particularly in STEM, to these teachers. Okay. Okay. So, benefit of research experience to the teachers is it enhances the scientific disciplinary knowledge. If someone is weaker in physics and doesn't know much about a science teacher who is kind of, so that science teacher can attend these and gain more experience. So the various disciplinary knowledge, like biology, botany, zoology, chemistry, physics, and environmental sciences or anything. So, and more importantly, they understand the authenticity of scientific research and engineering research. A lot of time in social media, we see a lot of postings that, drinking or lemon juice every day prevents you from cancer, or, ginger is the remedy to this and that. But there is no authentic study. And they find out what is authenticity, what is scientific method, how do we do research, how do we do engineering research. So they will have greater insight. Okay, engage in the key principal ideas. And so they kind of, when they are engaging, they are interacting with the instructor. And these instructors are scientists, and engineers are also scientists. They teach them the various steps and with the inquiry-based hands-on activities. So, and another thing which very often our science teacher lack, because they never learn these technical part of the laboratory, how to use pipetting. Those glass pipetting days are gone. Now there are, all mechanized and automated pipetting, and you can use those, but how to use them, and how to culture, and how to use PCR, which is modern method of growing bacteria billion times in few hours, and same thing with viruses. So they learn all these techniques, and not only that, but they can go back to their school and play a leadership role, like a teacher leader, Samim Raja can, she can conduct, seminars and hands-on activities, or teachers can go to a college and learn these activities. And again, the problem is those lecturers in the colleges never had that experience. So how they are going to teach? That's another problem. They don't do any research. That's another problem. So we have to, somewhere, you as a teacher in a school should start doing this, so that when these kids go into college and get the degree and do research and then go into universities, and they can be a better lecturers, professors, and teachers. So that's the main thing we are doing. So providing leadership, and of course, when you learn a lot of these techniques, you kind of brainstorm, oh my God, they were doing this kind of a research in COVID-19. If we do this methodology, instead of this methodology, if we could do the other methodology, which I'm thinking I could do it, then you are stimulating your cerebral cortex, your brain, and you may come up with some ideas, and you can approach the university, and they may accept your design of experimentation or plan, so they can implement it. So that's the thing, and of course, once a teacher become kind of expert in the area of science, of STEM, that teacher is well respected in the community, and from various community activities or the conferences, if they're, so that you will be invited to speak. So there is a community relationship, or the churches will invite, any functions in them related with some religious, like seminars or something, you can go and give, represent as a science teacher. Okay, so, and it has been found, studied, again, I'm quoting a study here done in 2013, such programs have increased their ability. See how the participation has increased the scientific inquiry among these teachers. Now they are more curious. As I said, they have different thoughts of teaching different activities to the student. And they may come up with some ideas and convey that ideas to the university and colleges, and would like to do yourself research. So this is a growing field. It doesn't stop. Once you become a teacher, the thinking process and teaching process doesn't stop. It always improves. That should be the goal of a teacher, irrespective of science teacher or any teacher. Okay, so benefit to the students, and they also get inquiry-oriented science. They become curious, and they come up with more ideas. And in fact, they have more ideas than the teacher has. So that's the part. That's the, when you go and learn research experimentation training, then you also develop, you can initiate that process in students' minds. So that's all, which will be happening in your classroom, in the minds of the kids. So, and students learn not only this science content. When I say science content, it is the curriculum. They're supposed to know. Okay, well, what is gravity? But they learn the definition. That's it. But how to apply that gravity? And what happens when you went 1,000 feet high, a mountain, and what will happen to the weight of that, mass of the object? Is it remain the same, or is it, the kids have to learn real world application. So with teachers going to research experimentation training, they can teach the real world application to the students. Now, and they will develop a deeper understanding. See, now I will talk again in other seminars. The goal now of teaching is teach less but in depth. We don't need superficial teaching, which is in rote learning. What you're doing is memorizing some stuff, formula type of education. What is A plus B square? Well, everybody knows. A square plus B square plus, what is the application? Nobody knows. Have you ever applied in your lifetime? No. So that's the problem. Okay. So they develop deeper understanding as you experience this kind of inquiry-oriented sessions. Actually working in the lab, research lab, or outside the research lab, in the field, outside, going out and doing some kind of a research project. So better understanding, and the last thing, which is important too, encourage perseverance. So what these kids will do, they get so much involved. These students get so much involved and interested in it that they want. Now, I have seen kids coming home and telling, Mama, Daddy, I know, you know what we did today? We did a research project in that, we are looking for this, and so far we found out this, and I'm wondering what will happen to this. That's the kind of, teacher should initiate that kind of interest among these students. And that results in not only in-school activities, but outside the school activities, like science fair projects. They are interested in science fair. Again, I will tell you, science fair and project-based learning, one and the same. You do along the curriculum, this project-based learning, and there are some project-based learning which is outside the classroom too. Same thing is the science fair, though it is not part of your curriculum, but it provides a lot of information. A kid who is working on electricity, he will know about magnetism too, how magnetism affects the electricity, how electricity affects the magnetism. Otherwise, they are just learning, the lines of magnetic attraction by putting the iron dust. That's all what they are doing in class. But the real understanding comes when they do the science fair activities. They learn a lot. And that is also part of your curriculum. Don't think that science fair is not part of your curriculum. And these science fair will make them go into college, and they can do much more research there. And in universities, they could win Nobel Prize. That's what I try to tell. Don't isolate these things. They are interlinked. All right. So, and what about those who are giving those research experimental training, research experience training to these teachers? They'll be happy to share their research knowledge, and they give exposure to the other teachers so that they can make these students in future research scientists or research engineers. And they then on the other hand, they will understand what the curriculum, what is the curriculum of K to 12 education, and how they can help them. So that's all. I mean, it's a give and take kind of a process. So the great service these scientists and the engineers will be doing, that they are promoting science and engineering as a career of choice in teachers, and teachers in turn do that to students. And this is a beautiful picture of Virginia, where there is NSF, National Science Foundation. And the one will be from June 16 to 28, but there is a parallel session for students from June to July 28. So deadline is over. Last year it was November 22, but that's what I'm trying to tell. And this is the thing India has to do, every state has to do. And I know that some forest departments have some activities there. You can contact them. And there may be, I know most of the colleges, they do not invite teachers. That's what Samim tells me, that there was only one college which was very much interested, and some American college in India. So they were interested, otherwise none of them. So somehow the education department and federal government and the state government give the priority to these kinds of departmental activities. And look at here. This is one of the teachers' experimentation going on here, and they are learning. See, it's not only in the lab, but it is like a field work in the farm, going and collecting the water from this stream. I believe there is, this is a pond or a stream, and see and bring those in the lab and test that water. And you can say, I mean, there are so many things why this pond doesn't have any life in it. What is happening? Test the pH of the water, test the contaminants and chemical contaminants and other contaminants in this, and find out. Maybe there are fishes which are kind of genetically abnormal. They are growing tumors or something, and test their meat and look at the DNA of those fishes and what is happening. And the same species, normal DNA, how it looks like. There are a lot of research you could do. And amazingly, one research project will lead you to another research project. So you could do tons of projects based on one project you started. So now, the STEAM. You can have the STEAM clubs. As I mentioned, STEAM clubs. In the A, actually, how it links with, see, these kids are drawing, some pictures, a design, which is part of the art. So in STEM, you need that. You have to, before experimenting, you have to put down something on the paper. What are the materials you are going to take? And this person is drawing a fish here. Can you see that? See? And he wants to experiment on the fish. So he's designing what he's going to modify to look into the fish and, movements and how you can improve swimming like a fish in the water, and what makes it to stand still, and all those kinds of things. So these kids are actually taking the help of arts. Okay, good. And now I want to give you an example of a STEAM project. Okay, how we can utilize arts in doing STEM. So the first thing, we are going to use modified 5 E's in this activity or in this project. In India, we say project-based learning, they say activity-based learning. Activity-based learning is not right thing, because activity could be like making a model, just a replica or copy. But in real project-based learning, you do experimentation and something new. Okay, and you'd like to know, more about. It may not be new, but still, it's a hands-on. Now, to start with, you use either leading questions by not giving any answer, or I think best, or you can use a picture, or you can show a small clips of a video. I always say that, a picture is better than 1,000 words, and a video is better than 1,000 pictures. So here we want to talk about to the classroom, do a project of STEM on pollination. So pollination concept, if you show through the video, and this video is beautiful video, and the person who did this video was awarded, and you can go on that line on the website, and actually it is on YouTube. You can go on YouTube. And this activity which I'm going to do today is for the grade 6 to 8, not below 6 to 8. Okay, and again it is this one is based on NGSS, Next Generation Sciences Standard. Okay, so you cannot teach this activity below 6th grade. 7th grade, yes, you can do. 8th grade, yes, and after 9th, it becomes more complicated and more complex. Okay, it may go up to DNA level. So botany, and we are in this project we are dealing with plant study or botany, and this is not a classroom activity, but you can make a smaller version of something like this for the classroom activity, but it's not going to last for 1 hour. It requires more time. So basically, our schools have STEAM clubs. That means soon after the school, they spend an hour doing this kind of club activities. Like you have a sports club, you have where, after the classes are over, these kids go and practice soccer or tennis or whatever. So the same way, these kids will do an hour of science club activity or STEAM club activity. And the time required is about 10 hours. So you are not going to do 10 in one day, 10 hours, but what you do is 2 hours per week for 5 weeks. So this continues, okay? And before doing this activity, particularly in the United States, we are very careful about the health of the students, and so that you check with every school has a school nurse, and they check that whether somebody has pollen allergies or not, and if there is pollen allergy, you have to take some precautions. Okay, so the project. This project, as I said, is to find out the structure and function of flowering plants. And of course, we are going to use modified 5E instructional model. So first thing in those 5 E's is engage. And when you are engaging the students, once you come in the class, another thing I want to tell you, please, for God's sake, Allah ke waste, do not enter into the classroom pre-planning. Unless you plan a night before how you are going to conduct this lesson, don't go with the, empty brain. There are lives of the students right there. If you do not do good job on them, they will be lost. And that's the problem. Probably you were discussing yesterday in the group that the kids have reached up to 8th grade and missed that window period. I think Samim was trying to convey that message. I don't know how many of you got it. So I'm going to talk that when neuroscience of learning, I will mention about those in detail. But anything. So anyway, let's go. So when you start, it is better to start with a small clips of a video, Wings of Life. It's a beautiful video, only 3 or 4 minutes, and the kids will watch and pay attention. And then after viewing the video, student will discuss in groups that what they saw. I saw the bat. I never thought that bat is going to, go and suck the nectar in the flower, I always thought that it drinks blood, like Dracula. So they may discuss like this, and still they don't know what these insects are doing there. Okay, the bird, hummingbird is another example. So they enjoy that, and then they kind of get an idea that these flowers are attracting these mammals like bat and birds and insects and butterfly, honeybees and all those. And so, and then if you kind of talk to them with the leading questions and assist them about pollination, then they say, they still may not have a depth of information about the pollination, but you can tell, they may ask you a question why they are going there, and you may say there's something called, making the fruits. You have the vegetables, how a pumpkin is formed, and they are helping in that process, and this is called pollination. Never give them straightforward definitions. Don't put down on the blackboard. Those days of blackboard are gone. Now we kind of, in India, I always see that schools, we have digital boards. What? This is improved version of that, your blackboard. Not a great thing. Just to attract more business. Teach something hands-on in a natural way. That's my, request to all of you. And believe me, if you have a beautiful lab in your school, no school spends money on lab. It's shame on our schools, even private schools, big schools. I see in big advertisement like huge poster boards. When you visit their schools, nothing, just a nice uniform, maybe a little fan there and lights and, and people are dressed up nicely and that's all. So try to have a lab and spend money. And another thing I'm going to, if time permits, I'm going to talk about internal motivation and external motivation. Don't invite and pay lakhs of rupees to these external motivators. The kids develop internal motivation that is more important than external motivation to teachers too. Teachers will, if they have internal motivation, they will be rewarded by a blessing of these great students. When they do some activities, and it is more rewarding to a teacher, and same thing, it is more rewarding to a student when he gets the right answer, when he does an experiment and gets the answer. That's the internal motivation. And instead of spending lakhs of rupees on them, some of them, thousands of rupees, buy something in your lab, science lab, and don't just make a showroom type of a lab. When people come, we have this and this and this, and never been operated. Make use of that lab. Doesn't matter if something breaks, get another one. So this is what I'm trying to tell you, okay? So let's go to another slide. First, after engaging, then exploration or explore. Let them explore, provide them flowers. And we use Asian lilies here because it has a better morphology, and all the organs in the or the structures in the flower are nicely seen. So let them take a picture, draw a sketch, and then ask them to dissect and take out each piece of that flower and study, and then give them a white paper and lead pencil or color pencil, whatever they want to do, and let them draw. And here comes the art. part of it. So students who are not normally engaged, when they see they are, oh, this science has drawing activity. I love drawing. And when I was a student, I used to draw beautiful drawings of flowers and painted flowers and animals and all those kinds of things. So they get, and they will enjoy it. Okay. And then this will become an artistic exercise for them. And this could become a competition. And somebody say, oh, look at how beautiful I have drawn. Yeah, you did a great job. And teachers are assistant. And then sometimes they may not pay attention to the stamen of the flower or the ovary of the flower. Then you tell, oh, there is something there. You should pay attention and draw that in your flower. Okay? And provide plastic scissors and knives so that they don't cut their fingers or poke into somebody with the scissors. Just be careful. Okay? And there are videos online for dissecting the flowers. So how to dissect and how to study. So you can make use of this. And a kid may just draw with a pencil, and of course, this is a professional drawing on the left side with the colors. And so they may not label those initially, but when they see or watch the video or a picture, then they can label the parts. Okay, still they may not be knowing what are these, what is happening, and all those things. Okay, then explain. Now, I'm sure a good school has projectors. Here in America, we have a cheaper version of a projector where you can put a paper or drawing paper, and it projects, to the screen by reflection. So the light is put on the paper, which was drawn, or a book or a picture, and that could be reflected on the projector. That's the cheaper version. But if you have PowerPoint and the digital projector, that is well and good too. And let them learn how to make a PowerPoint too. Okay. So now the kids are sixth grader. They know how to operate cell phones, so they can do it. So now students discuss their ideas. Okay, what they have seen, and they will try to explain. Oh, when I dissected, I saw something in the ovary, these kind of a round structures. So they may not know what they are and what they will. So they will explain, and so discuss their ideas about this. Oh, maybe why these and you can put leading questions to them too when they are projecting their pictures. You can put leading question to those groups, and they will respond. Okay. For example, you may ask, oh, you mentioned about this ovary has some kind of round things. What that could be? And then you can say ovules. And then you can say, these are the ovules which will become seeds in later on when the fruit will ripe. That's, then they grab it, then they retain it. All those kind of people who come with the memory boosting techniques and all those things, nothing works, believe me. Remembering, they come and do kind of a tricks that remembering like big 15-digit numbers. And the kid comes and closes his eyes or her eyes and says all those numbers, all are gimmicks. Don't believe in them and don't pay them. Even they want to come free to your school, don't allow them. Because the real remembrance comes when they understand the deeper learning. That makes them retain it. Not only understand, but retention and memory. So this is all I'm trying to tell you, and And I'm giving you all this information. Please believe me, because this has been researched already. This is evidence-based learning, what I'm teaching you today. So now, they may feel some sticky substance in the flower. Somebody will, in the group will raise, I saw some sticky thing in here. Then you can ask, oh, what is that? Then some may try to tell, and maybe having more experience, somebody might have told, the parents might have told, these bees go there and to set, they have a kind of sweet substance in there, it's called nectar. And so they may try to answer. Then you tell them, this is nectar. So you can put another question. Yes, why do these insects come to the flower? And then they will think and say, everybody will raise their hand. Somebody will say, oh, you know what? Because of the color, this beautiful color. And somebody will say, no, I think, you know what? They have beautiful, they have kind of a fragrance, a good smell that attracts them. And the third person may say, oh, you know what? These insects may come to drink that nectar, to take or taste that nectar, or honeybees will take this and make honey. So all that. So there are videos on pollination, and I have given the YouTube the address, so you can look at that and you can play in the classroom and let them enjoy. Okay, so that was explanation. So elaborate. Now you are elaborating what they have explained, they understood now, but still they do not have real-time experience. So this is the time for the field work. They go out and they dissected the flowers. That was the only experience, but naturally they didn't see. And so there is one application available. It's called University Botanical Garden. By Greenhouse Game Aries. Or you could go to in India, you could go to botanical gardens. Of course, these gardens are in bigger, like Bangalore, you have Lal Bagh and all those. But in the smaller places, there may be a park, or somebody may be having a house, may be having beautiful flowers. Go there and don't plug them, but just for the study sake. And but it will be nice if there is a big, like so many lilies are there, or some flowers which are lily-like flowers. And when you are teaching with lily or any other flowers, that will help them out. Okay, so and that will these games actually these greenhouse game teaches how to connect with your flower with other flowers, and they can study and they can see the differences and all those. So very often you can do this kind of activities, like in leaves, types of leaves. Okay, there are bipinnate, tripinnate, multipinnate leaves. How they can classify these leaves in lower grades. This is what we do, isn't it? This is a little higher. So okay, now they are connecting, they are applying the knowledge to look for something, isn't it? So then you can tell the kids that when you are going on field trip, make sure that you come up with some flowers which are similar to lilies, and they have three kind of characteristic common, or pieces of, you collect 3 pieces of evidence that they are similar. Of course, they may be, if you look at the 5 characteristics, they may be totally different, but something which are closely related with 3 pieces of evidence. Okay, So the same thing could be opposite of that. All right. So this, I'm just letting you know, this is the NGSS part of the curriculum, and it is related with life science. And on the side you see LS1. It is Life Science 1. It's the first module. And what does it deal with? It deals with structure and function. And if you look at I'm sorry. Actually, I have to close this to see here. Okay. On the top, standards are guidelines, as I said. The standards are not curricula. Okay. It gives you what to teach and what students have to learn in that grade. For example, in K to 2, kindergarten to 2, they should learn this much. This is LS1, 1. Okay. And then in 3rd grade to 5th grade, they have to learn this much. It's a module 4, LS1 and 1. And then here is, I'm sorry, to go back. Okay. Again, in here, in middle school, which is grade 6 to 8 here in United States. So what you are seeing here is organism reproduce, either sexually or asexually, transfer their genetic information to their offspring. This is MSL S3. I'm going to go in detail when I talk about NGSS. Sorry. Okay. Spatial structures and their function. Once they go in 9th to 12th grade, they are going at the molecular level, at the DNA level, at the genetic level, and they will be doing molecular studies, what is a gene and all that. So this is the guideline we use, and the curriculum is based on these guidelines. You cannot teach the sexual and asexual or reproductive organs in 3rd to 5th grade or elementary schools. Okay, so that's so simple. Now, what is next? Now, see, they did this and they come up with, they will be brainstorming and thinking all about that. And then you can also help them in thinking a little ahead. Well, what will happen? We don't allow pollination to occur in a flower. Kids will say, yeah, what will happen when these insects don't come to the flowers? There you go, a science fair project or a project-based learning. Then how you avoid that? Well, wrap up. Okay, here there is another thing. Lily flower is a bisexual kind of a hermaphrodite type of flower. It has both the sexes, female and male reproductive system in one flower. Whereas there are flowers like pumpkin, we have this long gourd, and this is the flower. They have male flowers and female flowers. And female flowers, even if this is a bird, still you see the fruit part, but it is not fertilized. That is the ovary. They will come to know all this when they are doing this kind of investigation. So what you do is, you put a cover, plastic cover on it. When it is bud, it did not become a flower. Once it becomes flowers, the insect will come and already pollinated and gone. So do that when it is kind of a bud, okay? And just leave that plastic there so that the insects cannot go in. And then after some times, this flower will dry up, and then they will see the the fruit or the vegetable underneath, which is kind of ovary, is also shrivels and dries up. So there is no fruit. You know what? Another thing you could do, another project, you could do artificial pollination. How do you do that? Well, there are so many things you can do. One thing which I do personally in my garden, take a brush and put it in the male flower here and just nose.
Alhamdulillah, Dr. Shah.
Do we have still some
I
time?
Yeah, actually, we paused our time, but because the flow went very well, and I myself did not notice the time. And I
Okay.
hope most of the audiences also really went through with. So it's really an amazing with with an example. It was really great, and everyone was able to. At least I myself is able to relate your 2 days of the detailed explanation with one simple example you gave. So
Yes.
how a teacher should look at it, not as only as a science teacher, even a science topic.
Right.
That's really fantastic. Okay, here there are some things I read for you from our participants.
Okay.
One
Tomorrow,
person, yeah,
tomorrow, I would like to do let's start with the science of learning. Okay. So
yeah.
that is the basic, and I want everybody to understand that. Then I will do NGSS, and I hope after that I may have, if I have time, then I can do once in a week once I start going to the hospital. So, so we'll see.
Yeah,
So,
inshallah. Well, let's see how the time permits and you are engaging how much we can able to get your free time on.
all
So
right.
that is yeah, that's great, Dr. Shah. I just read a few questions from the participants. One person said that a request to Dr. Shah. This is
Okay.
regarding RET. Is it? Can you consider a certificate or memento in NSF National Science Fair for guiding teachers, so it may help to improve the research teachers in school.
Okay. Okay. We'll see, inshallah.
So that's a request from one of the person. So
Okay.
and the rest people are saying that crystal clear and they do understand things. And one person said that poem in science is really awesome, sir. Uh, so and yeah, here is the real benefit. He said that I used to write in English and Tamil, but hereafter I, inshallah, by seeing this, I'll also write scientific poems and dramas as a teacher. So that's the
Great.
real benefit of this session, right?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate your interest, and I see a lot of people were still listening to me. I could see, at the end there were still 99 to 100 people there, teachers there.
okay.
Jazakumullah. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. So there are no other questions, so I think we can end here.
Okay. They can ask
Okay.
ask they can ask me on in the group, or as they whatever however they feel comfortable.
Yeah, you can raise all the questions even in our TEF group, so we will be able to discuss there itself also.
Right.
And Alhamdulillah. And also regarding this poem, right, just want to highlight our sister Atya in her schedule. She has a topic for writing stories, writing poems for teachers and
Right.
students. So maybe that may help how to teach writing poems, how to teach writing stories, and also hope that will really help even the science teachers to get these kind of
Sure.
results.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shop. May
Oh,
Allah reward
my
you in both
pleasure.
the worlds for all your time
My
and
pleasure. Always my pleasure.
inshallah,
Inshallah.
inshallah. Thank you all the participants. It is more than the time we
I
planned,
thank, yeah,
but the since the flow and the content made us to stay this long without any
yeah.
things. So until you say final completed right, there were around 93 participants continuously in more than a 1 hour session.
Right, right. Alhamdulillah. I see still there are 80 people there.
Yes, yes, sir.
No, I really thank all the participants. They are the real, I should thank them that they are listening so patiently. And, this is my handicap here, that I couldn't interact with them, personally. But inshallah, in future, when things will be all right, and I may come and conduct live seminars. But meanwhile, this will help them. And then they can have more questions for me at that time, because they have the basic information. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shab, and thank you all the participation. We are ending our sessions. Thank you for all your time. Inshallah, we'll meet you tomorrow morning session on the same time and evening session on the same time also.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Jazakallah khair.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.